Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Last time we were here, we built up Briggs Transit Hub, a little transit hub that mixed train, metro, and bus. And it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and that was the purpose of it. It's kind of an interesting location where they all kind of conjoin there, so naturally a transit hub would develop at that junction. So in today's episode, though, we are going to be building out in the same area, but continuing what we did last week on Friday, and we'll be expanding the town of Winslow. So we have a bunch of residential demand, and we will be adding to that and really getting the suburb of Winslow going. We'll be connecting the town up to our expansion onto Walsenberg, so we'll be kind of fusing these two towns together with suburban expansion. So here we are at Briggs Transit Station, which is, oh, wrong button. There we go, which is a transit hub in the middle of nowhere. It has some elements that have popped up, like a casino and a conference center and a couple office buildings and whatnot, but it's pretty close to the airport, and it's also relatively close to some suburbs, close to the highway, so naturally you'd see something like this pop up. I have done a few changes. I added a roundabout here. Traffic was getting a little bit too gnarly with the influx of people coming and picking up their pocket cars at this bus station after coming from the airport, which is over here. So a roundabout was the natural solution here, and traffic has just been flowing absolutely smoothly since. But today we'll be working out over in here. We did this on last Friday's episode, which was kind of like a small town Main Street build. Well, we'll be kind of adding the rest of that small town. We're going to be placing a metro stop over here, and then we will be kind of filling in as much as we can of this empty space here, connecting the town of Winslow with the town of Walsenberg. So let's start off with that metro, because this is going to be a pretty important factor in this town. Now, one thing right off the bat, this is not the most efficient spot to place the metro if we're talking about where the people live. It's probably at one of the worst spots for the metro to be in relation to where people live, because we need to stick to this metro right of way, which we have going on right here. So we'll be needing to shuttle people from the towns to the metro station. But we can also utilize this metro location to shuttle people in from, say, Ordway and maybe future towns out this way, so they could easily shuttle in via bus, get dropped off. So it could be a good commuter metro station. So because it's not that important of a station, it's going to be probably bypassed a few times with some airport express metros, for example. We can just choose a metro station that's not too elaborate. It doesn't need to be anything flashy or anything like that. So we're actually going to be using a train station asset, because this has a bypass aspect to it. I think that's really important here, because we're pretty tight in this little area, and some of our other bypass stations have access on both sides. We only want access via this side here. So I'm just going to plop this down. I guess we need a road first. That would be important. So let's just plop a road down, and then we'll just maneuver it into place with move it. Okay, so I had to stop the game so I could refresh my memory on how to do this properly with this train station here. So what you need to do to make this train station into a metro station is you need the network multi-tool or an equivalent tool, and you click unlock segment mode. You'll be able to unlock the train track segment inside of the train station. Then we can just delete it with our normal deleting tool, and then we can go into metro, and we have our metro station track, which is this one, which has the bypass element. And then we can just draw it in over top of where that used to be. But it's going to create an extra node inside of here. So let's just remove this node. There we go. And then now we have a full station track inside of here. So now we just need to maneuver it all into place, make sure everything's at the same height. And the idea here is that this metro that goes from Walsenberg over into here reused an old railway right-of-way. It's something that's very, very common in transit in North America. So what I'm thinking is that that right-of-way came in through here, then it joined up with this system that we have right here where it connects up with this metro, or sorry, this rail network that goes in this direction. So this would be a newer extension onto it. And it means we can start deviating from this right-of-way. This exchange here is actually new. I did this off camera because I'm planning on expanding the rail network out in this direction at some point. So hence why we have this junction here, this rail junction. But this also will give us the opportunity to just simply maneuver this as we wish. So we can just drag it into exactly where we want it to be. And I think something like this would be good. Let's get this to terrain height as well. There we go, that's pretty good. And since we don't need to kind of adhere to any other elements in play, like an old right-of-way or something like that, we can probably guess that if we plop it down right about here, whoops, don't want that. It's a good enough distance away from the railway that we're not interfering with its right-of-way or anything like that, and we can kind of start a new story here from this metro station. So let's just delete this little segment where we have it curved off, because I think this is where we would need to try and get our curve in from. All right, so there we have it. The metro station is looking real nice here. I think we need some fence along the backside here to have a bit of protection from the elements of the train, but I think this is a good placement for it. I think it looks pretty good here. I like the parking aspect of this asset in relation to kind of how we're approaching this metro station. And look at that, the metros are going right through the middle of the station. If you're going downtown, which would be on this side, it looks like there is a pedestrian bridge right across here. So if you arrive at the station, you can then just cross over like that. And I think this is like simple enough that it seems realistic as well. So let's get these metro stations, or these metro lines that are currently going through here, to stop in the station. Now, I think we'll only go with one of them. So let's make sure that, let's check up on what these metros are. Because I think we have two lines going through here, the General Hawkins line, and then the Dunn Fort Prairie line, which is, it's the Hanover Fort Prairie Airport line. So I think I selected the wrong one, because I think the General Hawkins line is currently kind of like our Milk Run train, the train that stops everywhere. And then this one seems a bit more like an express at the moment. However, I am planning a transit audit video soon where we will go over this. There we go. So now the yellow line, the General Hawkins line, will stop in here for the citizens of Winslow. All right, so great thing about this asset is that it has a connection here. Unfortunate thing about this asset, though, is if you connect up a road like this, kind of as it seems like you'd want to, this intersection here becomes extremely busy. So we're going to need to play a little different of a game here. And what we'll do is we'll drag this down and meet up in here somewhere. Directly to this main road, or should we have... yeah, let's do that. Let's meet up directly to this main road. Let's get a better connection, though. And I think what we'll do is we'll use just a basic road, perhaps the one we're using right here. Okay, and then we'll connect up right down into here. Something like this will work out nicely. So we can have like a bit of a bus stop area in here. I think this will work out great. And then we have our clean connection up into this zone. Now we do have a road coming through here, which connects up to Briggs Station. I just connected it up over here temporarily, but it feels like we need to redraw this line in and perhaps even connect it up into here. That would definitely make sense to do. Now we can definitely think about upgrading this road as well. I think I'm going to do that right now in anticipation for future growth, and I'm going to change it to a 6-lane road right away. Pretty large road here, however, it'll be definitely important down the line. So let's just choose this road here, and let's connect up with the road we just deleted. There we go. So this little bypass here isn't a clean bypass, but maybe we can get a secondary connection into here or something like that, probably around this way. All right. So let's focus on the bus aspect of this road, or of this area first, right after we get the water. All right, so we were talking about getting a bus stop in here. I definitely think that is a good idea, particularly because this suburban metro station is going to see a lot of bus activity, that's for sure. We have a bit of a cliff here, it seems like, so we got to make sure that we don't do anything too wild with that. But right in here, I definitely can see us smoothing this out a little bit and getting a bus stop. What we could do is make this area flat between these two roads here, and then we could elevate this up a little bit more than it is, because it's pretty flat. Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna work out better in the end. Now we have a nice clean area here for a bus station. Could we use just a simple one that we could plop down like this one here? Yeah, but it's gonna block off a lot of the nice kind of views that we have established with the metro station. It looks nice and whatnot, so even the mini one here kind of takes away from the style. However, I do think that the styles do go well together. But I was thinking we could just do a little bit of a custom bus station. So in order to do that, we're going to need our little bus roads. And I think what we'll do is we'll have like one way in and one way out. And we could use these ones here. All right, so there we have it, just a mini custom bus hub here. And we can even do a few other tweaks to it, just like this. Make sure that the buses only go in that direction. So basically buses come into here and then they can pull into their bus bays. We can have multiple buses stop in multiple bays, but let's get our first bus and we'll have it stop right here, right out in front of this area. And then we can bring it into this zone. We'll stop it alongside here, and then it will swing by down into the marina area, I guess, and then we can have it swing all the way back through here, maybe towards the high school area, which is over on this side, and then we can get it to come all the way around and then back to where we started. So just a simple bus like that could do wonders. We could have another bus run in the opposite direction of what we just did. And there we go, just some basic buses to start off. Okay, so we have this little area in here. We also have a zone through here that we can access as well. There's a nice little potential point of interest right here that we could connect up into. Now, this land isn't exactly the most desirable, but it is close to the metro station now, which is something to consider. What else are we going to be able to consider while doing this? Well, I want to make sure that we understand that the river is going to flood, so we're going to be building a park along the edges of it, because that is an easy way to make sure that we're being conscious with our building in relation to the way nature works. So with the rivers being able to fluctuate in height all the time, especially with spring melts from the snow caps and whatnot, the rivers fluctuate, and it's easier to build parks in those areas, because parks are easier to maintain than fixing houses that got flooded. Then if we're looking at this area in whole, we need to make sure that we have some road connections that swing up into here. And then this peninsula is going to be quite a point of interest. Do we bridge from here over to connect up like that? Doesn't make sense to do. Doesn't make sense for the city to spend that much money on a road bridge. Maybe a pedestrian bridge could do the trick. That could be pretty unique as well to have that connection. And then any other businesses that we really want to have in the area. I think if anything, this could be like a bit of a business district, a more modern area. And then there is one building that I really want to get in here in particular, mainly because this is a pretty popular area. We see a lot of traffic flowing through here. So I want to make sure that we have some sort of main attraction in this zone, and that main attraction is Costco. Let's be real. This area would totally have a Costco. So why can't I delete this? Okay, we're going to be doing it by hand. That's okay. So I'm just going to be deleting all of these trees momentarily. It's very strange that I can't delete this. All right, so the hypermarket. If a supermarket's not good enough for you, this is your choice. The hypermarket has everything. So I was thinking we could get the hypermarket to kind of position itself so that we have a nice big sign along the backside here behind the highway, beside the highway, so that people could see, oh, Costco is over here. And what better point of access than this road here? So let's connect up. And then we can just plop this down, and then we'll position it first, and then we can kind of move the roads around, add tons of extra parking, because let's be real, this building would have so much extra parking than what the building currently has. So here is the building. It looks like there is, let's make sure it's at the same height of this road so we can see what is inside of there. There we go. So we have the loading bay back here, and it looks like some sort of eating area maybe. And then we have the front of the store here. So we got to make sure that we respect the fact that we got to make sure that we have access for the cargo trucks back in here, but also enough room for people to park and whatnot. All right, so upgraded the roads, made things smooth. Now let's work on the parking lot itself. So I want to make sure that we have a road coming all the way back to here, and we're going to make sure that this is actually even with the building itself. So we can just play with it ever so slightly like that. And then we have our area for the cargo deliveries. Now I think we might need a bit more room, because I think if a truck were to try to back up into here, that could get a little tight, wouldn't it? So let's maybe think about pulling this back a little bit more, just to give the trucks just that much more room. But we do need to make sure we get another road into here. So maybe what I did was put this node in the wrong spot, because if we put this node right here and then swing this into this direction, for example, we can then get a road running into this direction where we can have more parking options. All right, so I think this is going to be sufficient. So all this frontage here is going to be kind of decoration, I'm assuming, for the store, and then the rest of this area is going to be parking, because that definitely is something that Costco needs. And if you don't have Costco where you're from and you're curious about why I'm saying Costco, Costco is like a giant warehouse grocery chain in North America. I'm not sure if it is in Europe or elsewhere. But basically it's like a deal store, so you have to buy in bulk in order to get deals, but the deals are awesome. All right, so there we have it. We got Costco in place. We'll detail this up later. But yeah, that's definitely something that is important for a suburb, right? So you're driving along here and you see the big Costco sign right here. And there's also a sign right here and then another one. And you turn right and you get into this zone. And here you are in the massive complex of parking lot mayhem. So let's get the other road connection through here. And then I'll be going through this direction. We'll use the same road type for now. This is just our basic road type that we've been using for this series. So I'm just going to kind of wing it, but should we get a connection to this road? Because we're not going to get a connection anywhere here because this is the airport road viaduct. But I think if we're ever going to get a connection onto this road, it should be here. And then we could even connect it up to this one, but I don't know if we should or not. But yeah, why don't we do that? We'll get a connection up into here, but why don't we have the connection come down from the road at a certain point, and then it can Y off into two directions. So this is actually rather steep. Didn't really plan for that. What we could do then is we could, since this is kind of like a bit of a highway, what we could do is we could create a bit of like a semi-diamond interchange here. So let's choose this road. Let's just extend it elevated a little bit farther than what we previously had it to about there. And then what we can do is then lower the terrain to this height. Let's just choose this one. Seems like it's a good base to have. And then we'll just swing this underneath here. Clear it out a little bit. All right, so sorry about that cut there, but I'm just playing around with it a little bit too much. And yeah, I think this is the way we're gonna go with these roads here. So we do have a road connection that connects up here with this highway. I think it just makes sense, especially because it'll steal right-handed turns from this intersection that is generally clogged up pretty good here. So hopefully that steals some of the traffic away from that. And then I feel like this diamond interchange is just the best way to have traffic flow through here. I'd rather not get the connection over on this side of things. It's way too close to the other intersection. So I think having interchange 1, interchange 2, and then interchange 3, I think this works out really, really good for dissipating the traffic. And yeah, it's just a pretty basic diamond interchange here. And then when we get into this area, we have a dedicated left towards Costco because that just makes sense. I'm sure a lot of people would be taking the highway to get there in real life. And then we have this road flow through here, which has clearly been redone at some point to kind of accommodate this diamond interchange. So the flow from Winslow Boulevard here can then come out over into this direction where it connects up with this road, which is pretty close which is the road that kind of takes you directly into Briggs transit station. And then we've kind of sectioned off now the asteroid area for a future kind of build. So let's finish off today's episode with some residential expansion into this zone and then into here as well. Let's start off with this area here. I think we're going to have 2 points of contact, probably one in this direction and then one into this direction where we can maybe bridge this, but I don't know if we're going to bridge this at all because bridges are really expensive to do, and if it's not pressing, I don't think the city would end up doing that anyways. So let's get going with that. Let's just use a basic road, and we'll just use this one here. I moved the bus stop out over in this direction from a previous location that wasn't actually that great. I think we had it stop right here, so I just moved it over here. Not that this area is any better, but I think if we just do something like this, we should kind of fill in all our bases here. Let's remove zoning from areas that we're probably not going to have zoning on. We might have zoning here. I'm not too sure about that. I'd rather not have zoning here. Yeah, we could have like a bit of like a parkette almost, and then I'd rather not have zoning on this road either. So then if we do that, it gives us a lot more space to play with these roads here. So you often see this, residential roads running parallel to arterial roads, and it seems I'm pretty sure that it's not a new city planning concept, but I do see it really often in new build areas now. I guess it's a good way to maximize space, and I guess that's exactly what we're doing right now. So there we go, a bit of a road realignment as well in the process. That is helpful. Okay, so now if we go to our zoning, we can see that we've maximized some space in this zone. We could probably sneak another road in through here, and let's do that. All right, so I have the zoning set up here and ready to go. And basically I'm just going to fill this up like that and then like this. So this is going to be a good kind of modern build. I think it's going to have that look at least. And maybe we could play that with the district type a little bit. So this is Winslow. I guess we don't really have any build types in here, so I think we can keep vanilla in Winslow. Hopefully, yep, okay, vanilla. There we go. And then let's add in some policies like parks and recreation, recycling. Those are pretty common ones that we do. I don't really think we need much else. Maybe a high-rise ban in case we get any transit-oriented development out this way. Alright, so I'm going to put forestry industry into here, mainly because I want to make sure that we get some warehouse type looking buildings in this zone, and there are some nice warehouse buildings in the forestry industry. And look at that, we're already at 4x3. These ones look great. We're going to plop these ones down right here. Okay, and then we have just this little spot right here that we could get some commercial. And then I always like leaving a space in between my residential construction if it's an arterial road. I think it just makes sense to do. Seems pretty realistic. All right, very good. So now we're going to be running a pathway all the way along the side here, and this is going to turn into quite the park. But I don't think we're going to get anything in here. Maybe we could get like some sort of building, but it's a pretty awkwardly shaped area. It's not exactly the smoothest of terrain either, so we could just leave it. But I do need to think about potentially getting a school in here at some point. We have no schools in Winslow, but maybe we get the school over on this side and that should suffice. So how are we going to approach this area? Well, we're going to have the path running along the side here, but I think we could do with getting like a road that kind of winds in here and is pretty much just a bit of a cul-de-sac, pretty much. Don't know how else to describe it, really. This seems like it's a bit of wetland, so I'd rather not truly build on it, but I could also see this being a large park as a part of the Winslow Point kind of, or Winslow Parks really, because this will be Winslow Point. We could get this to be a secondary one, Winslow Marsh or something like that, because it's not exactly easy to build in here, though I could definitely see us getting at least one road in here, because I don't think a developer would let this one slide. It is pretty prime land. It's pretty close to a metro stop as well, so let's check the topography out. And yeah, let's get a connection in from here, and then we could just maybe get a couple roads in. Maybe we could get two, really. If we start right here, we could bring this one out, let's say an even 20 units. Then we could bring this one in directly. Okay, and then the rest can be a bit of a park. I think that would make sense to do. So let's get kind of the road into the park area. We'll go at 10 units, so the whole thing is 30. And then this way we could get a bit of residential into here. And then I'm not going to have zoning along this road, especially in this area. And seeing as it's connecting right to this arterial. Okay, so we'll let those zone in as it does, because this marshland area is starting to show its true colors. It's starting to flood a little bit, isn't it? Let's just clean up this road a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So this is nice. It's going to act as a bit of a kind of regional highway almost. And then we're into this area here. So I think this area in particular is also going to be part of the park, but I think we could get a bit of a development, suburban development in this pocket, but leaving where the green is. All right, so I wanted a bit more free-flowing roads through here, so did it with the freeform tool, and I think it's going to look nice when they all zone up. But there's also this slot in here, which I think we could also try and kind of attach these two developments together. So what I'll do is I'll just go with the clean curve tool and connect those together like that. I think that just makes sense to do. And even though we're on a bit of a hill, I think that one connection is great. So we have this zone in here. I think we're going to leave this open for now. It could play well into some sort of business type district. We could get some commercial in there. Same with in here. I was thinking maybe we could get a bit of industry. But I want to connect this area up because this area is really important. I think I want to get a pedestrian bridge. I think that's what I settled on. And we'll get the connection from here. So we're going to need to redo how this path looks from this zone. All right, so we're going to be using the amusement park path for no particular reason. Actually, you know what? I think we used that one recently. Let's use the zoo path. Why not? It is the best path in the game after all. So let's plop this one down here, and then let's go elevated. Oh yeah, I like this path. Oh, never mind. It has those vines on it. That's not what I'm looking for. Maybe we go with the trade school path. Yeah, that looks great. Really, really happy with that. So we definitely need some more residential out over here. And sorry about that cut there, but this is actually the next day for me. The recording was running a little long, and I figured it was best just to put a cut right here and continue on with the build. So during that cut, the previous episode for the series has come out, and I was able to see some of your comments. So I've actually added in some names to the area. So we have Walsenberg Unity Bridge. This bridge was built when Winslow and Walsenberg were two separate towns. There was no bridge here. This was the only route around, so this bridge unified them, and I think it was paid for by the ore industry, who has their hands in the politics of Walsenberg. We have Unity Park Marina. This park is Unity Park. It's still Winslow Point, however, but this whole area now, all the park districts flow through here, so it's going to be one big park, and I'm moving the name for it over here, Winslow Marsh. And we also have Lewisburg, South Walsenberg, where we will be building up in the future. Also with Winslow Station, I added in some park and rides as per Jen's suggestion. And I also added a bike lane in that runs all the way through here. It runs alongside this road here, where it connects up with Briggs Station. We have a little path that runs underneath. It's a dual walking path, bike path. So it goes through this park and ride to the station, but then it also continues on into here, where it swings around via some old road, perhaps that's been redone with the bike lane, into Walsenberg itself. So I quickly see that we need water out this way, so let's just do this really quickly. Oh, it looks like it's there, but the nodes aren't properly connected. That's really funny. Hopefully that works now. All right, fantastic. So we'll be leaving the marsh for the end during the detailing time lapse, but there's a few things that we need to get in, like that school that I mentioned. So let's figure out how we're going to get a road through here, and how it's going to kind of connect up. So we have a pretty good distance between this intersection and this intersection, so I can definitely see us getting that main connection into this area off of this kind of bend right here. And then maybe what we could do is have that also come out of here. So we can have a road swing like this in, and then maybe it meets up with this road. I think that would make sense to do. All right, so this main kind of road here will give us lots of utility. It's kind of supported by some other roads, but there's only one other connection in. But it seems like this is kind of like a good large cul-de-sac almost. There's only really two ways in and out of here, but there's lots of ways out if you're a pedestrian. So I think this would be a nice little neighborhood. So let's get that elementary school in. I think that's the most important aspect of this area. And I think this area in here is probably going to be the best bet for it. I don't want it right beside the walking path, but I want it close enough. I was thinking this side actually might be a good spot for it. Then we can incorporate most of this area here. Yeah, let's do this. So I was thinking about getting a high school out this way as well. The only high school in this area is in Walsenberg, but I was thinking that would be a really good spot, or sorry, a good spot to put one would be in the second expansion in this area, so in Lewisburg, South Walsenberg. I think if we have this over here, it would also support Ordway, because Ordway also does not have a high school. So I think this would be a good little spot for one in the future. So we're not going to put a high school, but an elementary school was very much needed. When it comes to city services, we already have pretty good coverage, but let's double check on things. So we don't have any healthcare this way, so along here would be a good spot for some healthcare. How about fire? Yeah, definitely need more fire coverage. Police, I think we're good. Yeah, and then banks, I think we're probably good with what we have, though I could definitely see us throwing another one down. They're not expensive. But I was thinking a library would be a really good addition here. We have some fun ones available to us. We have the giant one, which we've used a bunch, but we have a modern one. We have an old historical one. We have a little teeny one. So maybe let's check out what the historical one can do for us, because maybe we could say that this is like an older building in the area. And you know what? I think it would look really good kind of down in here, wouldn't you? Plus, like having it so close to this walking path would be really beneficial for the people in this area. Maybe this is the original house of the original landowner or something like that in this area. So we could back it up right up against this path and then detail it up in a bit. I mean, we could incorporate this whole kind of area here as this library. Maybe we could add in a bit of parking out this way as well. The parking would be really beneficial for this path as well. Yeah, I think this could be a fun little addition here, but we need healthcare, that's for sure. So let's get healthcare, and let's use this one over here. And I would rather this clinic be a little bit more centralized. So let's place this clinic right by the main arterial road here. Yeah, that looks great. And then I don't think I looked at death care, so let's take a look at what we have. You know what? I definitely think we should get some extra death care in this area, so let's do that. If we're saying this is a bit of an older area, why don't we add in a small church? Oh, we already have this asset nearby. Okay, so maybe we go with a full cemetery. Perhaps we just go with a crematorium. Now, there is the new crematorium. No, okay, we're just going to settle for the original cemetery, or crematorium. So I think this would be fine to do. And then what else? We needed fire, so let's get a fire station. And this fire station, I think, should actually be closer to the station itself. So why don't we place this one right here? And then we need a bank in this area as well. We could put the bank kind of closer to the station. We could put it along the main road here. I think the main road is kind of a better option for the bank. Let's take a closer look. Looks like the hedges kind of could be combined into one. So let's see if we can kind of get this to look nice and line up properly. Yeah, that looks great. I like those two together. Okay, so we don't need post office. There's one close by. And we're good on libraries. We got healthcare. Let's see if we need to add in the childcare center. Yeah, you know what? There isn't a childcare facility in this area, so this would be an easy add, and we could add it maybe not so close to the elementary school. Let's separate it a little bit. We could place this right here. It's a good little spot for it. And then I think elder care would be the next one as well. I don't think there's any elder care nearby. There is over here, so we'd be kind of doubling up, but I think it's okay to do. And let's get a nice big area for this, maybe close to the river here. Yeah, I think that building looks nice there. Okay, so we got fire, we got the bank in, we got the library, we got the school in. So I think all that's left is maybe a couple little park assets, and then we're just zoning up. So I was looking at this slot in here, and to me, this says that we definitely need a plaza here. So I think we get this plaza right there. Slide it back a little bit. Line it up with some trees and whatnot. This could look pretty nice after the detailing time lapse. Okay, so that will really help boost the land value around there. Any other parks that we could add in? Well, this will detail up later. But I think otherwise we're good to just kind of start zoning. Let's take a look at where the nearest playground is. Yeah, we don't really have any assets in here. So why don't we get a small playground by the the child care center. That makes sense to do. That'll really raise the land value. And since we're talking about parks, you know I have to place a dog park in. So let's get that, and we'll place it right over here. How about that? Right by the water. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, so now we just got to zone up the rest of it, and I guess talk about the marsh. All right, so we got that all zoned up, and I think this is gonna look really nice when it's all filled in. What else do we need to talk about? Well, I said we needed to talk about the marsh, so let's take a look at what this is gonna be. So I'm kind of picturing a bunch of walking trails and whatnot, you know, an area that's really friendly to birds and wildlife. So I think maybe we get just like a small parking lot over here, and we run a few paths through here during the detailing time lapse. So let's just clear this out a little bit. And yeah, so we'll run some paths through here. But I was thinking it might also be interesting if we were to try and just pull this out a little bit farther and squeeze in like a soccer field or something like that. I think that could be nice, or maybe a baseball diamond, whatever fits nicely in here. Yeah, that looks fun. I think this would be a nice little spot for a soccer game, so we'll run that along. Some friendly wildlife areas over here, some trails that run along the back side of this, because this is really marshy down in here. I think that is a good addition. Let's talk about the station here, and then I will forego kind of what's happening in this pocket for the detailing time lapse. But right in here, I've been kind of going back and forth, and I think just a touch of commercial can go a long way here. I think just something like that really works, and then the rest can be kind of fallow and whatnot. So, looking at this area as a whole for today's episode, we've really filled it in. We've done a lot, and we did the station, we did the interchange here. We really added a bunch of residential through here. It doesn't seem like a ton, but it really works. We paid a lot of attention to kind of the theme. But now let's go into the detailing time lapse, and we'll start off with continuing the park around the estuary. All right, folks. So there we have it. I think I might add a few more things before the next episode, but I'm going to end today's video here. We sure did fill out this area a lot. I mean, look at this, the sprawl now from up top here. That is fantastic. So let's end today's video here, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Peace out.